Hi, this is Geekmeister from the Geek for All show. What you're about to watch is uncensored, unscripted, and possibly unethical. We hope you enjoy the Unofficial Stone Sesh. What's up?
Hello.
We're back again. This is the Unofficial Stone Sesh from the Geek for All show. We are nerds. We talk nerdy stuff.
And comics, movies, video games, science.
Alright, so we've been doing this unofficial Stone Sesh for a little while now. Our regular show has been down for quite a while. We lost our producer and the guy who had all the equipment, but we're going to be getting some things back together. We saved up, we are buying some equipment, and we're getting this thing back and rolling, hopefully by the end of the month, so that's going to be fun.
And that way you don't have to see our fucking ugly faces anymore.
Well, I don't know. We'll probably still do some of this a little bit, but won't have to be the thing that we're doing all the time. We'll find other segments to do and other ways to branch out. We've been talking about some of the things and some of them on the show even. But anyway, so last week we were describing some of our reactions to the Rebirth of DC. And I think a lot of what we said still holds. However, this guy's been telling me that I had some things a little bit wrong. So let me just like paint it for you the way that I thought things were going down a little bit, and he's gonna correct me on this because I'm mixing some things up here. So what I thought was going on with the New 52, and you may or may have not thought the same thing. I didn't read all of the New 52. I read certain story arcs from the New 52. A lot of times in graphic novel form after they had been out for a while. So what I thought was going on was that we had, based on comics just before the New 52, talking about this dimensional split that was happening and stuff. I thought that what was happening was that we had 52-ish titles that were coming out with issues, that had started at number 1 with this, and I thought each of them was part of this 52 multiverse thing. And that the reason that you sometimes had like a story arc that went between comics was because, since they were originally carbon copies, some of the same story arcs were going on through multiple of the universes. Now, something like that apparently was going on in something called Multiverse, which is, I think, how I got myself tripped up. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna... I'm wrong about this, though. 52, all same universe, all Earth Prime, they're calling it now, right?
So, basically, okay. So, New 52, what it is, it's just pretty much a reboot of Earth Zero. This was all a catalyst of Flashpoint because it just kind of brought in a whole bunch of different universes, alternate realities, or they're all reality, just vibrating at different frequencies. So they were all taking up the same space, just very rare that we actually cross paths or anything. It was supposed to be impossible, I would imagine.
Right.
But with a bunch of superhumans and godlike creatures or people, shit happens. So basically, anything with the label New 52, it's all in Earth Zero, which is going to be the main Earth, the storyline that we know of our heroes since
the Silver Age, more or less, with more of just some of the Bronze Age and some of like the 90s stuff as like the actual story backing for it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I mean, so basically they changed some origin stories like very slightly, and some are kind of major. And some people didn't like it. I think Batman... I'm mainly reading Batman and Justice League to kind of play catch-up. Other things I've kind of just, looking up online comics or, comic or story arcs explained and stuff like that, just to kind of brush up to get ready for Rebirth, to finally catch up. However, so far, I have no complaints with the New 52. It's just basically... the simple story, just trying to get you back on track of what's going on with all these other 51 universes going on at the same time.
Okay, but what's going on with the New 52? Because there's like a whole thing. Like, so what's been happening in the New 52 up at like what recently was going down just before this reboot thing happened? Like, take us through some of that, like on the big ones.
Okay, well, right now, just Justice League is at a point where everyone is a god or was a god for a little bit. Defeated Darkseid, and This shouldn't be a spoiler. This is known for a while.
Yeah, no, we're behind on this. We're catching up, but there's
Yeah.
people out there who are also a little bit behind, so we're trying to help you play catch up with us.
Okay, well,
So-
I mean, you gotta forgive me, I'm stoned. I'm not gonna go into huge detail. We only have so much time and a lot of topics to cover. So, basically, Justice League. Right now, where we're at. Darkseid's supposed... Well, no, he's dead. He's defeated. And now, like, Batman is the god of knowledge and supposedly knows the Joker's identity. And Superman's the god of strength. Flash was the god of death. And Shazam was the god of gods?
I mean, he was already kind of a god, wasn't he? That was like the whole thing. Because he got his powers from a wizard that was like at the arc of all reality. Like he lives like literally at the anchor of everything.
No, and that wizard shows up, too. Shit happens with that wizard and the staff.
Okay.
And and another monster who was Darkseid's dad. Yeah.
So anyway,
dad. And Lex Luthor becomes the new god of apocalypse. I forgot to mention that.
Ah.
That's right.
Nice.
Yeah. So
All
there's
right,
the Omega
that's going to be
power.
interesting. Okay, so help me out then with... So what was this multiverse thing that I was getting tripped on with the issues being different universes and stuff? Help me out. Help me out with this.
I'm sorry, we're getting way off topic. I'm a little high for this, but that's the point. It's the stone session. So basically, we have Earth Zero, which is our main storyline now. Anything with the label New 52 on it is Earth Zero, currently. And I'm assuming when Rebirth comes, it'll all be labeled
Rebirth, yeah, probably.
But basically any other alternate universe, like, let's take, for instance, the Crime Syndicate with Owlman,
Earth 3.
Ultraman.
Earth 3. Yeah,
Earth 3.
that's the biggest thing. The reason he knew that something was off when I was talking last week, I think, was because I was saying that it was all, like, Earth Prime universes and stuff, and he was like, no, I think Earth 2 and 3 are still around, and lo and behold.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of different universes. It's really hard to explain. There's a whole series called Multiversity. There are 52 universes altogether, including Apocalypse, Earth. There's one Earth that... Oh, well, Apocalypse is not part of the 52 Earths.
That's like on the outer sphere.
That's on the
reality,
outer. That's
right?
on the outer
like
sphere.
the
Yeah.
God plane.
Yeah, because where there's heaven, there's hell, there's
Okay.
apocalypse, there's yeah. Anyway, so 52 universes. This is getting redundant. 52 universes. All happening at the same time. So if you read a comic before where, let's say, Batman's a vampire or the whole Justice League's a vampire, there's an Earth for that. I forget which Earth it was because there are so many. And then when I was reading it, like all day, trying to do research on it, like it's a lot of information to take in and try to remember what. There's an Earth where everyone's like a chibi form of them, like a little anime cartoon character.
What?
Yes, there's even an Earth where there's like cartoon heroes, Captain Carrot, like a big muscular rabbit with a cape and a mask.
Captain Carrot.
Captain Carrot.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to read that comic. We got to get our hands on that issue.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta still figure out where Dark Knight Returns would fit in.
But that's the idea, right? Rather than building off of just like the one universe that was kind of like their major theme, like I thought they were doing, they actually went for, we're going to include everything. We're going to do everything we've ever done and wrap it all into this like multiverse thing that we've set up.
Well, and then also Rebirth, we'll see what happens because they're taking everything that was great in New 52 and then everything that was great that might have gotten taken out of from New 52 and making it to one Prime Earth. Earth Zero. So all the other universes are happening, and I feel like when they put out that whole scale of different universes, even there are some that aren't established yet, they put up a really good groundwork for opening up their creativity.
So
and adding
so,
more
so
shit.
DC is really going balls to the walls with trying to set up a continuum that is absolute.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Well, at least it's...
At least more so than in your traditional comics.
Right.
Because normally comics are a little bit loose and all over the place as it is anyway, and there's just kind of a very loose continuity going on. And DC was like that for a very long time. But now, apparently, they're really striving to, no, we're gonna pick specifically the stories that are going on that are a part of it, and everything that's ever been done is at least flavored somewhere in a universe. Like, it's all a part of it somehow.
Yeah.
And, which is kind of cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I dig on that. So, a little bit of a correction from last time. I still vote that they're focusing too much on legacy characters. I maintained that from last time and everything. I obviously understand more now that how big of a universal kind of thing that they're continuing on to, so there needs to be those issues and everything. But they are also focusing on some new characters, but they're legacy characters, and that's all fine and dandy and everything. I could have used to see some new superheroes, or some, like, new sidekicks at the very least that are, like, are trained by a superhero of some kind, but don't directly do their stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
I would really like some new stuff. A lot of new stuff. We need some more originality.
Yeah. The fact, you got a Chinese Superman. Well, that's very cool and everything, and I have no problem with that, really, in any way. But it would have also been cool to maybe, at least with that, also throw in that, like, but he's got this, like, sidekick character who, is also kind of like a superhero at the same time, like, with him. Or so, Superman normally doesn't have a sidekick. Make this one a little bit different. Give him a sidekick, give him some extra, like, help or something in some way. Which, honestly, it's not out yet. Maybe they are going to do something like that, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth.
We'll see what happens. But I do have the DC... Rebirth special on pre-order.
So we're going to be checking that out. We'll let you know what we...
Yeah. Like 80-something pages.
Think about that. Okay. As for things that we have read that we're going to talk about, we promised that we were going to be bringing this to you last week, and so here it is. Batman Europa.
Yay!
This is, I think, a story that's a couple years old now, but it's not a super well-known one. Or at least doesn't seem like it is. And... I mentioned a little bit about the story arc, but once again, it's Batman and it's Joker, and they're in Europe, and they're both have been poisoned by some unknown party who is leaving both of them clues. And they have to work together in order to figure out what's going on and how they can, like, cure themselves ultimately. We're going to try not to spoil this one, because I think when we do comic reads, we're going to try to not necessarily do spoilers unless it's, like, really big story arcs and stuff that are in the news anyway and stuff, because we want people to go out there and read it. So we're not going to spoil this one too much, but I will say one of the first things you're going to notice is how vibrant and yet dark the coloring in this book. It's bizarre. Everything has an extremely dark tone, but they use lots of colors all over the place. And they're not bright. I can't explain it. They're not bright, but they're very vibrant at the same time. Like, they stand out. It's like almost like, it's not like they've done like a black and white with selective color, but it has that quality to it, and it's really cool.
It's hauntingly beautiful.
It really is. Now, one of the things I'm going to say right off the bat, the dialogue, especially on Batman's part, could definitely better his thought process, especially. I actually love the Joker's thought process. When you get Joker's thought, like, bars and stuff, like, that was really good. I actually liked that a bit, and of course, whenever I read the Joker, I read it in Mark Hamill's voice.
Right.
So that's how I judge. Does it sound good if Mark Hamill is saying it? I thought it was great. I really enjoyed, like, that quality of, like, I'm the showman, and I'm going to tell you about the wonders of the world. I think it was really, really good for I think, actually, that's my biggest takeaway from this, is that it's a meh Batman story, phenomenal Joker story.
For sure.
Oh, man. Really, really good. I think we're both in agreement that it's all about issue 3, right?
Oh, issue 3. Issue 3, the virus starts kicking in hardcore, and if you have ever done any hallucinogen like acid or mushrooms, you would see something very similar in these pages. They draw the tracers and the colors very well.
Fractaling images and stuff, particularly with the Joker's smile. His teeth, there's always, like, multiple weird rows, like, stacked on top of each other, and it makes no sense, and it's like, Yes, I've seen this happen.
Yes.
I have seen these things.
They do that all for only one issue, just so you can kind of get the idea.
Yeah. No, it was beautifully done. They picked one issue to just do it with so that you could kind of get in their mindset, but it didn't, ultimately interfere with the story because you had 3 other issues that were, much more on point in helping you figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Now, it does the one thing that I always go back and forth on whether or not I like it, but a lot of people are critics of it. The thing where you start somewhere and then everything else is a flashback. Like you start like at a forward point in the narrative.
Yeah.
And this does that. So if you're kind of like on the side of the writers of Rick and Morty and Community, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he harps on that a little bit. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like that methodology, and I go back and forth. I say for this it works though. I think it really does like work for this story because I think when we're talking about a story where there is so much confusion and mystery going on, and it's like kind of a riddle in a lot of ways. I think having it, having flashes into like the future of the story actually does work, and it helps you draw towards something. So for this one, I'm going to say that it definitely does work. Oh, yeah. But if you kind of just get turned off by that stuff immediately, fair warning, maybe not your thing. But I don't think it's enough to. I hope that's not enough to ruin the story for anybody. I just know it's a big critique that some people have.
Yeah.
But again, Batman Europa.
Find out for yourself.
I really encourage you to read it. It's really fun. Again, if you're a Joker fan, I think you're gonna love the crap out of it. He's really, really phenomenally done, and especially in the illustrations, his smile is.
It's a good trippy Batman comic.
It is.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay, so we knew this was going to be a little bit of a short one because we weren't going to do any spoilers. So we have prepared a little debate for ourselves. Classic superhero versus superhero, and we're going to do one that I don't know if it gets talked about a lot. We're going to compare 2 of the Robins. We're going to compare Jason Todd and Dick Grayson.
Yep. Jason Todd, Red Hood, Dick Grayson, Nightwing.
Yep.
That's what we're going to do.
That's the thing. All right.
Well, compare whatever.
Well, I mean, like, ultimately the way they can, that's what everyone does is, okay, how do you compare these 2? Well, how does it work when they fight each other? I mean, superheroes are ultimately combatants for the most part. So, all right. So who takes who in a Nightwing versus Jason Todd?
Well, let's size them up first.
All right.
You go. You start off. I'm assuming you're going to take Dick Grayson.
Yes, I'll take Dick Grayson. Okay. So, a acrobat since birth. Dick Grayson is not necessarily the heaviest of hitters. But he can still, he knows where to make you hurt thanks to years of training with Batman. And more importantly, his years of acrobatics and parkour across the rooftops of Gotham have made him almost impossible to hit. He is the opposite of Gohan. He dodges everything.
Like a motherfucker.
Dodges everything. On top of this, extremely proficient with blunt weapons. And thanks to his training as an undercover operative on behalf of Batman to figure out what was going on with Spire, the spy organization, in his comic Grayson, which, by the way, if you've never checked out Grayson, one of the comics that I actually did check out what was going on with, really solid. I really enjoyed it. That series quite a lot. But he is actually an incredibly good shot. He is really good with guns. But, in fairness, he doesn't actually like to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that might be a little bit of a problem when we're talking about his contender, Jason Todd.
Oh, yes. Okay. Jason Todd. He had a shit life. So, we start off with his mom and dad his mom's a junkie, dad's a criminal, dad goes to prison, killed in prison, mom dies, and then he gets caught trying to steal the hubcaps off the wheels from the Batmobile.
Yes, that's right.
So
such a good.
He's automatically, we've got this kid who's like raised in the streets, tough little shitbag, gets taken in by Bruce Wayne and trains him as Robin, so he has training with Bruce Wayne, but he's always like a little bit more angrier than Dick Grayson. He's just like lets out. He lets his inner monster out when he's out fighting. And then, you know, he gets tricked by the Joker, runs away. He thinks his mom's alive. Then turns out that was a trap. Joker kills him. But then Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul takes him to the Lazarus pit.
Oh, right. In the comics, that's actually Talia.
Yeah, Talia takes him to the Lazarus pit. And then he comes back, and then he's trained by the League of Assassins. So now he has training from, you know, the streets, Batman, League of Assassins.
Some heavy contenders there.
And he's not afraid to use guns.
So, definitely at first, it seems like Todd's got a little bit of the advantage only because he's not afraid to hold back at all.
Right.
Now, on the same token, I vote that might be actually right where Grayson might have an advantage. Because what Grayson lacks in veracity, he makes up for in mental discipline.
Yeah, that's true. That's what he's got more of a clear head on his shoulders, and he's quick, he's clever.
He could get Todd to do something really stupid.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, Todd gets fucking angry, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And Dick can be such a dick.
He can't. No, it's intentional.
In the best way possible.
I think, actually, that's what I love about... bit of a side tangent, if you'll allow. That's what I love about Terry McGinnis is because he is such a combination of Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. Mm-hmm. He's really such a mesh of the two of those guys.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's what made him so special. And with Rebirth, I think we forgot to mention last week, Batman Beyond is also going to be a part of it and is coming back with Terry McGinnis as the Batman instead of...
Oh, yeah?
Tim Drake.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that'll be cool. Anyway, so back to the fight at hand. So it kind of depends on... I think for one thing, depends on who's got the jump on the other one. Now, if we're talking like Western Showdown, you know, except probably on the rooftops of Gotham, you know, like they're on the same...
And it's Gotham. It's both their home turf, man.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think this... Well, maybe that's how we make it interesting. Okay, so they're both really, really good in Gotham. It's going to be a close call no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Now, who's got the advantage if they're not in Gotham? If they have to actually fend for themselves...
They both kind of traveled, though.
They have both traveled quite a bit, actually. So I guess who relies on their knowledge of Gotham more in general?
I would probably say Red Hood would rely on it a little
Yeah,
more.
he really does need it to be street savvy. You know what I mean? Because he hangs out with, the criminal type. He actually gets closer with them than any of the other Bat family does. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking Grayson might just on that alone might have the upper hand there a little bit. And like Todd has done some traveling, but he's done some pretty specific traveling. You know what I mean? Like he's hit some really specific destinations. Whereas Grayson, while he was working for Spiral, kind of did go all over the place. Mm-hmm. He's sort of used to fighting in a variety of different environments.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So you know what? Here's what I would say. I think that if they meet just in a straight, like, in Gotham somewhere, I'm going to give it to Todd.
Yeah, for sure.
Ultimately. Because for one, he's not going to hesitate to just shoot.
Right.
However, if ultimately the fighting terms are a little bit different than, like, show up and, like, walk in and everything, I think Grayson's got it.
Yeah.
I think as soon as, like, it becomes a matter of, okay, set the odds to my favor, I think Grayson's going to make the better calculations. And I think, I think Todd's going to make some really, really good calls that are going to be really close for Grayson to have to deal with. But they're going to come, but he's going to think, he's going to be the guy who's thinking 2 steps ahead in chess while Grayson's thinking 5.
Yeah.
And so ultimately it comes down to, what are the circumstances? Are they having a disagreement and somebody decides to pull out something and start a fist fight? Because, again, in that case, I'm going with Todd. He's not going to hesitate to up the ante and do something about it.
Yeah.
However, if we're talking about a pre-planned scenario where they've met a couple of times and they've disagreed, and finally, like, somebody does something that the other one wasn't comfortable, it's like, all right, I'm hunting this son of a bitch down. Grayson is probably going to walk away on that. Like, even Todd trying to, like, ultimately, like, sneak up on Grayson about it, I feel like Grayson's going to figure it out and get word just in time. Because he's got almost as many, like, ears and friends and contacts as Bruce does.
Right. That's true. But, So
there you go. As for most things, it sort of depends on the exact scenario. But I think that sort of is what makes, like, a really good fight. Is that ultimately it has to come down to, all right, well, what are the circumstances? Because it entirely depends. And that's what people don't think appreciate enough about the Batman versus Superman fight. There's some really obvious answers. That straight and narrow fight, Superman, duh, absolutely, every single time. But if there's any kind of, like, deception and, tactics being played, Batman's definitely at least got the upper hand. But I will say that Superman in, like, the straight and narrow fight, totally a, like, solid, like, easy victory for him. Yeah. Whereas Batman really always has his work cut out for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that I think is going to about do it for us. I'm not sure where our subject is next week. We're going to have to actually just kind of figure that out. We'll wing something.
Maybe we'll crack the mystery of why all the fucking Robins look exactly the fucking same.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point, man. You were telling me about this the other day. He was complaining that all Robins are drawn with black hair, and most of them have blue eyes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to maintain Dick Grayson has a bit of a longer face. He's usually illustrated with a longer face than most of the other Robins, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But I will grant you they all sort of just look like little Bruce clones.
Yes, they do. It's like Bruce Wayne has his own sperm bank in Gotham City, just gives his sperm to parents that
I think he is the sperm bank. I mean, it's Bruce fucking Wayne. I think he's...
I mean, Damian's his son. He looks just like all the other fucking Robins.
Alright. You know what, actually? One thing we're definitely going to go, it won't be like the main segment because we're saving that until the end of the month because we don't want to give spoilers too soon or anything like that. But we're going to be checking out Civil War later this week, and so we'll give you, like, as much as we can. Although from what most people have been telling me, we're probably just going to be able to say, like, it's awesome. We can't say anything else. We're going to spoil everything if we say anything.
Yeah.
But if there's anything that we feel, we'll talk about it, and there's anything we feel comfortable kind of, like, just sharing a little bit of, we'll talk about that and, like, bring it up or whatever. But anyway, we'll be coming back at you next week, and like I said, toward the end of the month, we're going to be bringing the actual Geek for All show back. It's going to be very exciting. But until then, y'all peace out and be good with yourselves.